OU ends their investigation into the SAE fraternity and makes efforts for diversity on campus.
And Tri-State Roping comes to the Heartland Expo Center in Shawnee.
Good evening, I'm Lindsay Skinner.
And I'm Jake Nelson.
Gunshots broke out at around 5 a.m. this morning near Garissa University in Kenya. 147 people have been killed with 79 reported injuries. Officials are reporting that 4 gunmen are dead. The death toll is the highest one for a terrorist attack since the U.S. Embassy was bombed in 1998. The Somalia-based Al-Shabaab militant group is claiming responsibility for this terrorist attack.
April 13th will be the second anniversary of the Boston Marathon bombing. Trials are underway, and all the testimonies were heard this past Monday as the trial continues. The prosecution called 92 witnesses over the span of 15 days. The defense only called 4 witnesses in just 2 days. Lead defense attorney Judy Clark says, quote, "The real battle is over the death penalty," end quote. Tsarnaev's defense has admitted from the start that he is guilty, but their case is trying to prevent him from going to death row. According to a recent poll, only 27% of Boston residents feel that he should be put to death. The trial will resume Monday to hear the closing arguments.
By this time next year, the presidential campaign will be underway, and there is now one candidate in the running. Monday, at an event hosted by Liberty University, Republican U.S. Senator Ted Cruz announced his official campaign for the presidential elections in November of 2016. The senator from Texas was greeted with a standing ovation when he announced his official presidential campaign. Ted Cruz also tweeted, quote, "I'm running for president of the United States to stand with each of you to reignite the promise of America," end quote. Senator Cruz is the only one who has officially announced his campaign, but many eyes are on the potential candidates. Hillary Clinton is among one of the favorites for Democrats and Jeb Bush for the Republicans.
The Religious Freedom Act has caused controversy for several states who are considering adopting a variation of the bill and states pushing for the bill to be changed or taken away. Oklahoma and 18 other states have passed religious freedom reform acts, while 14 other states are considering. The bill's major issue is the fear that it gives businesses the right to discriminate against homosexual couples. This brings much tension to the current push for equality in the states.
Oklahoma House Bill 1948 is one step away from the governor's signature. The bill is intended to help reduce drug addiction and overdose deaths. It would require doctors to check a patient database before writing prescriptions for highly addictive drugs. In 2012, a total of 534 people died of prescription drug overdose in Oklahoma. It will go to the full Senate, where it should receive strong support.
On Tuesday, Germanwings Flight 9525 was traveling from Spain to Germany when the plane crashed into the Appalachians. All 150 passengers and crew on board were killed. Investigations are focusing on 28-year-old co-pilot Andrew Lubens. Lubens was seeing 5 doctors at the time for medical conditions, and papers were found torn up at his residence, written by his doctors, advising him not to fly. Cleanup and recovery crews are still working at the crash site and have recovered more than 2,000 DNA samples, as well as clothing and personal belongings.
An outbreak of measles has reached Oklahoma recently. Reagan McGowan has more.
Last week, a public health warning was issued after a patient was diagnosed with a case of the measles. This is the first confirmed case in the state since 1997. According to the Oklahoma State Department of Health, symptoms of measles include high fever and red blotchy rash and begin to appear about 7 to 14 days after a person is infected, but can be as long as 21 days. Although the measles can be very contagious, it is also very rare and can be prevented by making sure you are vaccinated. I'm Reagan McGowan, reporting for News 30.
In a press earlier this week, University of Oklahoma President David Bourne shed some light on the recent SAE fraternity racism scandal. According to investigations done by OU, The racist chant seen in a video released last month was taught for fraternity members at a national SAE event 4 years ago.
Boren also announced that there were high schoolers and SAE recruits present at the time of the chant video. As many as 24 students have been officially disciplined by OU. And in addition, the Sigma Alpha Epsilon fraternity has been disbanded at the university. Boren released a statement conveying his own opinion about the issue, saying, quote, "The matter cannot be closed in our view until the culture at the national level is addressed," end quote. The recent Blue Bell recall has been tied to Oklahoma, and Oklahoma teachers rally at the Capitol. Next.
Teachers from across Oklahoma joined together as one voice on Monday at the state capitol. Teachers and administrators are calling for lawmakers to look at education and education funding. The main concerns were teachers being underpaid and excessive mandating testing. The entire rally was an hour and a half with speeches from lawmakers, administrators, and even students. Joy Hoffmeister, state superintendent, finished the rally by calling everyone to keep making their voice heard.
Earlier this week, a Blue Bell ice cream factory in Broken Arrow, Oklahoma, recalled all distributed 3-ounce cups of chocolate, strawberry, and vanilla ice cream. The ice cream cups in question were potentially contaminated with a bacteria known as Listeria. The recall and investigation came about when the bacteria was found in a Kansas hospital's Blue Bell ice cream stock. As many as 5 people, all having been treated at this hospital, contracted listeriosis, a serious sickness caused by contact with listeria. Blue Bell has recalled ice cream cups from 23 states, but the company wants the public to know that the only products affected are not sold in individual consumers.
It's always annoying when your favorite show comes to an end, but one show is being made into history at the Smithsonian Museum. Fans may be because there is only few episodes left, but is now part of history at the Smithsonian Museum in Washington, D.C. last week. The stars of Mad Men were at the Smithsonian as some costumes and props were donated to the museum.
This weekend is going to be filled with roping here in Shawnee. News 30's own Nicole Smith has more.
Cowboys are back in town here at the Heart of Oklahoma Expo Center for the Tri-State Team Roping Championship here in Shawnee.
The event will run all day Friday to Sunday, and to get everyone a little more information about team roping, for those who don't know much about the sport, I met up with Ethan Smith, who has been team roping since he was 11.
And Oklahoma is probably one of the most competitive states there is to compete in. That's like a roping I went to a couple weeks ago. All the times on 4 were like the first place to 10th place was 31 something on 4, and then last place was like 33 on 4. So it was pretty close, like, placings.
But what exactly is team roping, you might ask?
There's 2 people, there's 2 horses, there's a steer in the middle, and there's a header, healer, and the headers, after that, the steer out of the chute, the header chases the steer and ropes the steer on the horns, and then dallies around his saddle horn and pulls the steer off, and the healer comes and ropes the steer's feet. And to get a time, both horses have to be facing each other with both ropes tight around the horns and feet.
For many cowboys, roping isn't just another hobby, it's something they love to do. For Ethan, it's no different.
I grew up doing it, and it's just what I love to do. There ain't nothing else I'd rather do.
Reporting for News 30 with Okie, I'm Nicole Smith, News 30.
Randolph Davis, a civil rights pioneer and the first African-American student to enroll at Oklahoma State University, passed away on March 23rd of 2015. She applied to OSU twice. This college was also previously named Oklahoma A&M College, but she stood her ground and was finally admitted in 1949. Her enrollment paved the way for many students to come. Davis earned her bachelor's degree from Langston and became the co-advisor for the Oklahoma City National Association for Advancement of Colored People Youth Council. Nancy Davis will go down in history for her willingness to stand up for what she believes in. We have had tornadoes, hail, and warm sunny days all mixed in the last few weeks. We'll check with Tiami Cortez next for our weather update. That's only some of the hail that struck Shawnee Tuesday night. The severe thunderstorm brought in 2 rounds of hail, some that were even size of golf balls and baseballs. Can you believe it?
It's springtime and Oklahoma is used to severe weather like this, but please tell me there's no more coming soon.
Well, the weather has not stopped surprising us, Jake. We have been experiencing some bizarre climate changes. Shawnee was under a tornado warning last Wednesday, and it was quite a scare for those around. We had some nice weather after last Wednesday, and then we experienced a hailstorm this Tuesday with the hail size of golf balls. Fortunately, the storm is over and we're getting some great clear skies with warm temperatures to get the summer feeling good. Right now, it is 82 degrees with a few clouds and wind out of the south at 10 miles per hour. Today, the high was 82 degrees, which is almost 20 degrees above the normal temperature for the time of year. We were 2 degrees away from tying the record of 84 set back in 2012. Across the state, we've seen temperatures in the upper 70s and mid-80s. Tulsa got all the way up to 86 degrees, while Oklahoma City got to 85 degrees. Tonight, we'll see lows in the 60s. Here in Shawnee, it will get down to 84, 87 degrees, while McLeod will drop down to 63. The pollen count have been pretty high for the past week, especially in the tree and grass category. Over the past week, we've stayed above normal for the most part. That pattern will stick around. Tomorrow will start out at 61 degrees, then the temperatures will begin to drop around noon. But we should see the clouds diminish and warm up, and we should top out at about 64 degrees at 5 p.m. On Saturday, it will warm up again to 67 with a low of 49. And Sunday, we'll receive a 70% chance of showers with a high of 65 and a low of 59. Next week is looking great. On Monday, we'll reach 84 degrees with a low of 67. Then on Tuesday, it will drop just a bit with a high of 82 and a low of 62 degrees. Carrying on to Wednesday with the same high at 82 and a low of 59 with partly cloudy skies. The week doesn't look as chaotic as we've seen recently, but be cautious because anything can happen here. We're definitely seeing some great sunny days and crazy storms. If you capture any of this weather and would like to share it with us, you can go to news30 at okbu.edu. Have a great Easter, and now here's Hannah Lounsbury with your Shawnee Arts and Entertainment.
Megan McGowan for your arts and entertainment this week. The Myra Gardens are hosting an eventful weekend.
Tomorrow is Good Friday at the park from 5:30 to 8. It is a free event with food trucks, face painting, other kid events, and live worship music. At 3, there will be a doggy Easter egg hunt sponsored by Midtown Nets. It is $10 per dog, and they must be leashed with proof of current vaccinations. For more information on these events, go to okcbotanicalgardens.com/events. Also happening this Easter weekend is the release of 80, a continuation of where the movie The Bible left off. From executive producers Roma Downing and Mark Brunette, the spiritual journey in AD follows the exciting and inspiring events that followed the crucifixion of Christ. AD will premiere Sunday, April 5th.
Oklahoma Baptist University will see a change next year on the men's basketball court as they move to NCAA Division II next. Here's Laura Hickman with your sports update for this week.
OBU men's basketball coach Doug Tolan announced his retirement on March 12th after coaching the Bison for 15 seasons. The announcement came only 2 days after he was inducted into the NAIA Hall of Fame. Tolan has been the head coach at OBU since 2000 and has led the Bison to 14 consecutive NAIA tournaments. He also led the Bison to a national championship in 2010. He has been voted SAC Coach of the Year 3 different seasons, and he was also inducted into the OBU Athletic Hall of Fame in 2011, along with being inducted into the Oklahoma Basketball Coaches Association Hall of Fame in 2013. We Bison thank you for your years of dedication to our university and athletic program. Following Coach Tolan's retirement, OBU has already hired a new men's basketball coach. OBU Athletic Director Robin Davenport introduced new head coach Quinn Wooldridge at a press conference on Wednesday. Due to so many injuries for the Thunder, players like Westbrook and others have had to step up and take charge. Last night, Westbrook sealed his 10th triple-double and 2 other teammates scored over 30 points, but the Thunder still came up short to the Dallas Mavericks along with a score of 135 to 131. With 31 points, Westbrook added 11 rebounds and 11 assists. Anthony Morrow tagged on 32 points, and Inez Cantor added his career high of 30 points along with 16 rebounds. OKC will now travel to Memphis to take on the Grizzlies tomorrow at 7 p.m. That's all for sports this week. Jake and Lindsay, back to you.
Well, it's past spring break for most, but if you're looking for somewhere to spend your summer, the Family Vacation Critic released a report on best family beaches.
Besides amazing views and beautiful sand, the editors consider dining and entertainment for everyone in the family. New Jersey, California, Rhode Island, Florida, California, Oregon, Maine, Delaware, and Virginia were all in the states included on the list.
Well, remember that you can always follow us to get insight to what stories we're looking at by going to our Twitter, @Shawnee News 30.
Also, watch previous shows and stories on our Shawnee News 30 YouTube.
And share any news tips with us at news30@okbu.edu. Have a great night.